Okay, so we're looking at a final quiz. This won't be a short one. It might go for 20 or 30 minutes at least. So we're going to go through calculus, and then we'll do some series sequences and indices. Okay, so let's have a look at the first one, straightforward derivatives. Have a go, and when you're ready, come back live. The last two, don't forget you don't have the rules for brackets and fractions, so you have to expand out or divide. Okay, have a go when you're ready. Okay, how to go? Maybe. Let's have a look. So change colours, make it a bit better. So y dash equals 5x squared is 10x, 7x is just 7, and the 1 disappears. Okay, so in this one here, before we can do it, we've got to turn it into, get rid of the x off the bottom, and so y dash will equal minus 2x to the minus 2, and the minus 5 disappears, and you don't leave negative indices, so it's minus 2 over x squared. This one here, you've got to turn it into a half before you can derive it, and so y dash will equal 3 over a half x to the minus a half, which is 3 over 2x to the half, and if you wanted to, that's 3 over 2 root x. We can leave it as the fractional hour. Okay, with this one here, expand the bracket, so you've got x squared minus 5 plus 1 is minus 4x minus 5, so y dash will just be 2x minus 4, and in the last one, jumped up a bit high, what you do is you break up the fraction into two parts and then tidy up if you can, and then y dash, okay, x over half just turns into a half, and the minus 1 disappears. Okay, actually what I might do with that one there, that was pretty basic. What I might do is I might just do another one, x minus 2 over x, and so the idea is you break up the two numbers like that, so you end up with 1 minus, and then the derivative, okay, 1 disappears, and then minus 1 times minus 1 is plus number, 2x to the minus 2, and so the answer is 2 over x squared. So this one here and this one here are related, except that x on the bottom or 2 on the bottom, just break it up into separate fractions. Okay, come across when you're ready. Okay, so find the gradient of the tangent, find the gradient of the normal. Okay, so we need to find a derivative and then make a substitution. So when you're ready, have a go and come back. Okay, maybe you've had a go. Y dash equals 2x minus 3, and so at x equals 2, y dash equals 2 times 2 minus 3 equals 4 minus 3 equals 1. So that's the gradient of the tangent. Okay. Next one, still do y dash. So we've got minus 4x. So at x equals 1, y dash equals minus 4. So the gradient of the tangent is minus 4. Therefore, the gradient of the normal is a quarter. You flip it upside down and change the sign. Okay, come across when you're ready. Okay, if f-1 equals 1 for fx equals x squared minus ax plus 1, find the value of a. So you get a clue, and you've got to find the missing a value. Okay, so if you're not sure, then pause for 5 seconds and then come back live, otherwise have a go. Okay, we're back. So f-x equals 2x minus a, the 1 disappears, so f-1 would equal 2 times 1 minus a equals 2 minus a, and that value is what the 5 is. And then take the 2 across, so 3 equals minus a, so a equals minus 3, to switch the signs. Okay. Come across when you're ready. Okay. Average rate of change for x squared plus 2x between x equals 0 and x equals 3. So this is not a derivative. What we have to do is the average rate is the total change in y over the total change in x. So average rate equals the change in y over the change in x. So it's not a derivative. So can you have a go at that? When you're ready, come back. Okay, so when x equals 0, y equals 0 squared plus 2 times 0, which is 0. When x is 3, y equals 3 squared plus 2 times 3 equals 9 plus 6 equals 15. So the average rate of change equals 15 minus 0 over 3 minus 0, so the average rate of change is 5. Okay, copy and come across. Okay, find the equation of the tangent. Okay, so we're going to find the gradient of the tangent, and when it's parallel to y equals 3x minus 5. Okay, so we need to find the x value, so x equals what? We don't know that yet, but this gives you a clue. If it's parallel to that line, then we know what the gradient is. So have a look at your notes, but come back when you're ready. Okay, so m parallel would be 3, and the derivative of 2x, x squared is 2x, so 2x equals 3. So now we have our x value, x equals 1.5. So at the end of the day, we've got to put it into y equals mx plus b. So I need to have a y value. I know the m, I know the x, I don't know the b, but I can find the y. So at x equals 1.5, y equals 1.5 squared, which is 3 on 2 squared, which is 9 over 4. So then 9 over 4 equals the gradient is 3, the x value is 3 on 2 plus b. So 9 over 4 equals 9 over 2 plus b. So that comes across by subtracting, and so b equals 9 on 4 minus 9 on 2, which is minus 9 on 4. And so your final answer, the gradient, the tangent is y equals 3, gradient is 3, x minus 9 on 4. Okay, and that's the answer to the tangent. Okay, come across when you're ready. Okay, when is this increasing, when is it decreasing? Okay, so you don't have access to Desmos, so you have to use derivatives. So this will be when y dash is positive, this will be when y dash is negative. Okay, so we've done these ones before, but check your notes, but otherwise come back in a minute. And okay, we're back. So y dash equals 3x squared minus 6x, which is a happy parabola. Okay, so it equals 3x bracket x minus 2. So that value is 0, and that value is 2. When we sketch it, so what we've got is we're sketching f dash x versus x, and that's our parabola. So it's increasing when it's positive, so it's increasing x less than 0, x greater than 2. It's decreasing down there, so 0 less than x less than 2. So with these questions here, just sketch it, and then you're looking for above or below the axis, x-axis. Okay, come across when you're ready. Okay, this is one of the big questions, sketch, and you have to do turning points, points of inflection. So this is one of the big questions on the paper. Show the steps, and when you're ready, come back live. Okay, so when we're sketching first, just get the y-intercept out of the way. So the y-intercept is 1, the number at the back. So for the turning points, y dash equals 0, and y dash is 6x squared minus 6x minus 36. And that's, you can use the quadratic formula, but let's just factorize it, make the numbers smaller. And now we're looking for two numbers that multiply to give minus 6, that add to give minus 1. So that's not too hard, minus 3 and plus 2. So therefore the turning points are at x equals 3 for that bracket and minus 2 for that bracket. So I've got the x values. But the turning point has a y value. Okay, so at x equals 3, y equals, oh, I've lost my formula. Okay, 2x cubed, 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 36 x's plus 1. Okay, now I'm going to just pause that because I haven't got the calculator with me, so I'm just going to do it longhand, so I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so back, I've just done the calculation. So at x equals 3, we got minus 80. At x equals minus 2, you get 45. Okay. So the coordinate is 3 comma minus 80, and this coordinate is minus 245. And just going back to the start, we talked about, okay, positive roller coaster. It's going to start low and finish high. Just remember that. Okay, positive roller coaster, positive x cubed, will finish going up and start going down. Okay, so we've got our turning points. So what we're going to do is get their nature. Okay, so to get their nature, we do y double dash calculation. You can do the first derivative test or the second, but the second derivative test is easier. So the second derivative is 12x minus 6. So at x equals 3, y double dash is positive. 12 3s are 36 minus 6, so that's our min TP. And at x equals minus 2, minus 2 times 12 is minus 24, so we've got a negative number, so that's our max TP. Okay, so let's keep going. There'll be a lot of space on the thing. So right now we've got so minus 2, 1, 2, 3. Don't forget to label your axes. You'll lose marks if you forget to label your axes. So we've got 45 as one of our numbers, and we've got minus 80. So we'll go in 20s. Okay, 20, 40, 60. Just decide what's a good set of. Okay, so we've got minus 2, 45, so that's about there. 3 minus 80 is about there. The y-intercept was 1, so that's about there. So now we have to do our point of inflection. Point of inflection, y double dash equals 0, and a sign change. So 12x minus 6 equals 0, 12x equals 6, x equals a half. At x equals a half, this is a bad calculation for us to do. 2 times a half cubed minus 3 times a half squared minus 36 times a half plus 1. So I'm going to pause and do that calculation, so I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I'm back. I've done the calculation at x equals a half. I'm doing without a calculator, so then hopefully there's no error. So I'm thinking that at a half minus 17.5, which is about there. And then we just do make sure there's a sign change. So x equals, okay, a little bit to the left. Okay, so x equals 0, a half, 1, y double dash. Okay, add 0, add a half at 0. For 0, it's minus number, and at plus 1, it's a positive number, so we've got a sign change. Therefore, it is a POI, and now we just join the dots. So again, pivot on the turning point, on the point of inflection. So we're going to go up, and then down, and then we're going to go from the point of inflection. We're going to go down and pivot, and then go up. So we don't have to worry about the x-intercepts, and it looks something like that. Okay, so that's one question you don't want to make a mess on because that's big marks. Okay, so we found the y-intercepts, we found the turning points, we got their nature, and then we found the POI and made sure it was a POI by doing the test on the second derivative, and then just join the dots. Okay, come across when you're ready. Okay, so here is it's an optimization question per se, but the formula is given to us, so it's not hard, but It's not one where we have to do a lot of thinking. So a ball is thrown in the air so that its height is given by height equals 3t minus 6t squared. So this is an upside down parabola, and that's why it's got a maximum height. It's an upside down parabola because it's a minus t squared. So we've got a series of questions to do: initial height, maximum height, instantaneous. Now instantaneous means it's a derivative, and then we've got an average over 2 time periods. Okay, so have a go. If not, just I'll be doing the answer in a couple of seconds. Okay, so h equals 3t minus 6t squared. Initial means t equals 0. H equals 0 because you've got 2 zeros to substitute, and then just make sure you've got units. Height equals 0 meters. B, the maximum height is at a turning point. I didn't mean to make it capital A turning point. So y dash is the calculation. So y dash equals 3 minus 12t. So 3 minus 12t equals 0. Running out of space. So therefore 12t equals 3, t equals a quarter. Okay, so this question here will be not very good because we've got numbers that are going to have negative height. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to worry about that question because now that I look at the answer, t equals 1 and t equals 3, the height will be negative. Okay, so we won't worry about that one. But if you were going to do it, we'd have to substitute t equals 1, t equals 3, and find the difference in heights divided by the difference of times. But I'm not going to do it now. Okay, part C, instantaneous. Instantaneous is a y dash calculation. So y dash equals 3 minus 12t at t equals 1. Y dash equals 3 minus 12 times 1. So the rate of change is it's decreasing at minus 9. And as a D, if there was a question like this in the paper, the average rate is the difference in times is what you divide by, and the difference in heights is what you divide into. Okay, so sorry about that last calculation, but it'll be pointless because I know that the maximum height is a quarter, which means that t equals 1 and t equals 3 are negative heights. So that's not a good question. But let's move on. Okay, so this one is an optimization. We've got to minimize the perimeter, okay, and we haven't got a formula, so we need to do an optimization question. So have a go and come back when you're ready. Okay, so we've got x times y. You know, we can say let width be x, let the length be y. So x times y equals 49, and we're only allowed to have one letter. So y equals 49 on x. So the perimeter equals 2x plus 2y equals 2x plus 98 over x. Okay, so at minimum, p dash equals 0. So p dash equals, now that is the same as 98x to the minus 1. So p dash will be 2 minus 98 over x squared. Okay, so we multiply by the minus and then we subtract 1, which will give us minus 2, which will become plus 2 on the bottom. So therefore 0 equals 2 minus 98 over x squared, and bring all the minuses across to make them plus. Okay, running out of space again, and we just switch these two positions over. So 98 over 2 equals x squared. X squared equals 49, and x equals 7. We can ignore the negative 7 because you don't measure length in negative numbers. So x equals 7. Okay, and then p double dash, to prove that it's a minimum, we have to do p double dash. So let's go back to that calculation. So let's just do p dash. Sorry, p dash equals 2 minus 98 x to the minus 2. So p double dash will equal positive 196 over x cubed, and at x equals 7, p double dash is a positive number, so it's a minimum turning point. Let's see if we've got the question answered though. A rectangle has an area, find the minimum perimeter. So we've got to find the perimeter. Okay, so perimeter equals 2x. Okay, perimeter equals 2x plus 98 over x. Over x, sorry. Yep. Equals 2 times 7 plus 98 over 7 equals 14 plus 14 equals 28 meters. Okay. So that's the answer, 28 meters. Okay. Come across when you're ready. Okay, so now we have to just finish off the calculus with some antiderivatives. Okay, so you've got your formulas, so have a go when you're ready. Okay, so this one would be 3x cubed over 3 minus 7x squared over 2 plus 1x plus c, and then just tidy it up. So x cubed minus 7 over 2x squared plus x plus c. Okay, now before we can do it, we've got to make this into a fractional indice. And now the answer is add 1 to the power, divide by the power, minus x plus c, and then we just got to tidy up that number. So the 2 comes up the top, so we get 10x to the 3 on 2 over 3 minus x plus c. Okay, so make sure you can't integrate that to turn into an indice, which is a half. Okay. Okay, so this next one is what we're finishing application. So particle moves, blah, 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 5 meters. Okay, so you get some information about initial velocity and initial displacement, which will help us find the values of c. Okay, when you're ready, have a go. Okay, we're back. So a equals 5 meters per second squared. So v equals 5t plus c. And then initial means time equals 0. And the initial velocity equals 6. So we got 6 equals 0 plus c. So c equals 6. So v equals 5t plus 6. And now we sub in 5 seconds. So when you get that, it's 31 meters per second. That's the velocity. Don't forget units, meters per second for velocity. Okay, now once we've got velocity, now we can do displacement. So we've got 5t squared on 2 plus 6t plus c. The initial is time equals 0 equals minus 2. So we get minus 2 equals 0 plus 0 plus c. So c equals minus 2. So the displacement formula is this one. And then the time is 3 seconds. So s equals 5 times 3 squared on 2 plus 6 times 3 minus 2. 9 5s are 45 over 2 is 22 and a half plus 6 3s are 18 minus 2. 40 and a half minus 2 is 38 and a half, and displacement would be distance, which is meters. Okay, that's it. Come across when you're ready. Okay, so we're now to do some series sequences again. Okay, so hopefully you've got some of this stuff still in your head. Okay, pause and come back live. Okay, the sequence is going up by 4. Okay, so the d equals 4. So the quickest way, okay, we'll do it the long way. So a plus n minus 1 times d equals minus 7 plus n minus 1 times 4, and then expand out, and then just tidy up. So that's your Tn term. The quickest way is, once you know that d equals 4, then you know straight away that it's 4n, sorry, not 4n, 4n, and then how do you go from 4 to minus 7, and your answer is minus 11, so it's 4n minus. So that's the quick way of doing it, and the first way is the slow way. Okay, for 5, 8, 11, 14, find T12, S12, and is 5, 11 a term in the sequence? Okay, so we're going to find term, we need to have the general term. So let's just use the shortcut. So the difference is 3 each time. So Tn equals 3n. How do you go from 3 to 5? You add 2. So that's the formula for Tn. Okay, so A, T12 equals 3 times 12 plus 2, 36 plus 2. So we've got 38. B, S12. So to find S12, we'll go n onto first plus last, because we've just calculated the last term. So the 12 terms onto the first term is 5, the last term is 38. So we get 6 times 43, 6 3s are 18, 6 4s are 24, so the answer is 258. And the last one, okay, is it a term? So we use a term formula. So 511 equals 3n plus 2. Subtract 2 is 509. So n equals divide by 1. Carry 2. 6 3s are 18. Carry 2. 6 3 into 29. 9 3s are 27. Remained 2. So that's not a whole number. So 511 is not in sequence, because it had to be a whole number to be in sequence. Okay, come across. Okay, in an AP, T5 equals T11 equals, find A and D. So it's simultaneous equations. Okay, so we've got T5 equals A plus 4D, T11 equals A plus 10D, and we subtract, so we get 6D equals subtract 18. So D equals 3. So we've done that one. And then A plus 4 times 3 equals 14. A plus 12 equals 14. So A equals 2. So once you have this sort of information, it's simultaneous equations and subtract to kill off A. Okay, now we've got a GP question for the sequence 5, 10, 5, 5 on 2, blah, blah, blah. Find A, R, T7, S6, S infinity. Okay. So we're dividing by 2, or we're multiplying by a half. So it's multiplying by half. So A is 10, R is a half. So you just have to do 5 over 10 equals a half to get the R value. Okay. So T7 equals AR6. So it's 10 times a half to the power of 6, which is 10 times 1 over 64. So that answers on your calculator is 5 over 32. Okay, S6. S6 equals A 1 minus a half to the power of 6 over 1 minus a half. Oh, the A value is 10, sorry. So we get 10 times a half. Half to the power of 6 is 1 over 64. So that's 63 over 64 divided by a half. And I'm going to pause and do this on my calculator. Okay, so I'm back. I don't have a fraction calculator as a decimal. It's 19.6875, or the fraction, or the fractional equivalent. I'm assuming I haven't made a mistake. Okay, last one. S infinity equals A over 1 minus R. Now, S infinity means it's going to limit it some. So A is 10 over 1 minus a half. So the limiting sum is 20. Okay, that's it. Okay, so we're back to an AP question. How many terms are there in the series, blah, blah, blah. So this is the last term. So this is Tn. So we need to find what number it is, if it's going to be a number. Okay, so Tn. So the gaps are 3. So straight away we know it's 3n. And then how do you go from 3 to 5? We add 2. So 152 equals 3n plus 2. 3n equals 150. N equals 50. So there are 50 terms. Okay. Next one is we got the sum equals 3,925. How many terms were there? So again, I'm hoping this one will work to a whole number. If it doesn't, then it's my fault. Okay. Rightio. So we've got the sum Sn equals n on 2a plus n minus 1d. Okay, we don't know what the last term is, and we're not going to sit there doing guess and check, are we? All right. So next one is 3,925 equals n on 2. 2 5s are 10 plus n minus 1 times the difference is 3. 3,925 equals n on 2. Now that equals 3n minus 3. 10 minus 3 is 7 plus 3n. Okay, so then multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of the 2 on the bottom. So we get 7850 equals n bracket 7 plus 3n. Okay, so all I've done is got rid of the 2 off the bottom by multiplying by 2. And then 7850 equals 7n plus 3n squared. And then make it a quadratic equation. Okay, you'll make it equal to 0. Okay, I'm going to pause and get my quadratic formula going. Okay, so I'm back. I did a cross multiply. You can just use the quadratic formula, but you end up with 3n plus 157 bracket n minus 50 equals 0. Now this is a negative number, which you can't have, and this number is 50, which is nice because it's a whole number, so we need 50 terms. So when you get to this stage here, don't forget you've got to make it equal to 0 to solve it because it's a quadratic. Just use the quadratic formula and let the calculator do all the work for you. Okay, now there is going to be a question on compound interest despite what I might have told my class, so just have a look at this one here if you need to put something in your notes. Okay, back. So compound interest balance equals P bracket 1 plus I over 100 to the power of n. So find the final balance. So principal is $8,000. 1 plus, now the interest is 6%, but it's compounding monthly. So it's 6 over 12 over 100. And I didn't say how long we're going to do it for, so that's bad. So this is for 2 years. So that's pretty bad. Okay, so that means it's 24 months. 8,000, 1 plus 6 over 1200 to the power of 24. Now I'm going to pause and go and get a calculator again. Okay, I'm back. So I've just done my calculation. So make sure you've got that formula in your notes, and you can if you have to find I or N or P, you can just rearrange the formula depending on what the case might be. Okay. Right, okay, we're up to indices, the last part perhaps. Okay, so simplify those ones, see how you go, and don't have any negatives in your final answer. Okay, so pause, and when you're ready, come back live. Okay, so we'll do the numbers. So 1 times 3 is 3. 3 divided by 6 is a half. So the coefficients are half. M. 4 plus minus 1 is 3. 3 minus 5 is minus 2. And so the answer is 1 over 2m squared. Okay, this next one, flip it. That's a negative there, so flip it straight away. Don't change anything in here. All you're doing is changing that to a positive by flipping it on the bottom. So the answer is 1 over 9x4. So negative indices are not negative numbers. Make sure you don't put in, there's no negatives anywhere. Okay, so this one here is 1 over 25 to the half, and 25 to the half means the square root of 5. The answer is a fifth. Okay. Next one, we've got a positive outside, so we don't have to do any flipping. So 2 cubed is 8. 1 times 3 is 3, minus 2 times 3 is minus 6, and then just take the b down to the bottom. Okay, next one, we'll expand this out first, so we've got m minus 2 times. Now it's a negative there, so we go 1 over, and then we've got 3m minus 1, and that's now to the positive 2. Okay, So we've got mn minus 2 times 1 over 3 squared is 9, minus 1 times 2 is minus 2. So 1 times 1/9 is 1/9. Okay, m divided by m to the minus 2. Divide means add in the end. So we've got m plus 2 is 3, and then n doesn't have any partners, and then 9's on the bottom, and so is the n. Okay. And last page. Okay, so equations, so have a go when you're ready. Okay, we're back. So 3 and 27 have a common base of 3. So 27 is 3 cubed. So then we can just finish x plus 1 equals 3. So x equals 2. 4 and 2 have a common base of 2. So this is going to be 2 squared to the x minus 1 equals 2 to the minus 1. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times minus 1 is minus 2 equals minus 1, because we can forget about the bases now. Okay, so add 2 to both sides. So 2x equals minus 1 plus 2 equals 1. So x equals a half. And the lucky last, a quadratic. Okay, so let's, okay, so back again. Let a equals 3 to the x. So then that is a squared. That is a minus 6. And then a minus 3. So what two numbers multiply to give minus 6 that add to give 1 is minus 3 and plus 2 equals 0. So a equals 3 and minus 2. You can't have indices equaling negative numbers, so we're just left with 3 to the x equals 3. 3 to the x equals 3 to the 1. And so there's only one answer. So just remember, you can't raise anything to a negative number. And hopefully you got something out of that, because that was a long video. Bye.